Hey guys, and welcome to what has been a bit of a requested bank video over the last few weeks. I've had a number of people ask me to do one, so I figured I may as well. It's been a while since my last, and it gives me a chance to show you guys any XP goals or XP gains that I've been making over the last couple of months. So we're going to start off out with the bank, and you can see my first tab. Nothing much has really changed in here. I've still got things like the whip to my Neats helm, which I've had in almost every bank video, and then things like my dungeoneering rewards and some cooking supplies, which I don't know why they're in this tab, they just are, I guess. Then I've got things like my void set, which I finally got after literally 6 years of playing, so that was kind of an achievement, I guess, to get that, because I absolutely hated getting it and I never really enjoyed pest control. And as well as that, I've just got things like my 3rd Age Druidic robe top and the staff, which they're just flips, and if I wasn't making this video they would be in the Grand Exchange trying to be sold. So that's the first tab. My second is just summoning and tools. I don't really need the tools, they're all in my tool belt, but I don't need the bank space either, so I just kept them. Almost 3 mil tockle, which is entirely from doing fire capes, and I did have over 3 mil, but I did spend maybe about 200k of them so far recharging the ring, which gives you the 10% boost against Tazar. And then just some summoning stuff. I don't really use a lot of summoning stuff, but I like to have them in the bank anyway, and those are the only 3 things that I use, so the only ones that I ever keep. My next tab is teleports and runes, and there's nothing really impressive in this tab, just a number of runes that I don't really use, and a lot of teleports that, I only ever really use the glory to teleport, but if you want a close look at that tab, give the video a pause, otherwise we'll go on to tab 4. Now, tab 4 is potions and farming and stuff. I never really farmed these at all. I've had them in my bank for maybe the last 2 or 3 years, and I've had plans on actually using them, but I've never got around to it. So hopefully by my next bank video they'll be gone, or they'll at least be fewer in number, but I honestly do doubt it. As for my potions, I've made quite a lot recently just for the Herbalo XP. You can see I've made quite a lot of extreme magics, which I don't plan on using any of, but I already had the mud runes ground, so I figured I may as well make them into extreme magics. That's about it for this tab, I guess. Nothing really amazing or valuable in here, just a lot of extreme potions which I've made just really for the Herbalo XP. My 5th tab contains items which either like special or unique, or they're part of my collections. So we have things like the bird's eggs, which I've just collected from my kingdom, as well as the bird's nests, flax and maples, which are also from the kingdom. Then we have things like my capes of achievement, my dungeoneering master cape and my max cape, which I keep in this tab, and my fire capes obviously. And then my collection of hats, my chef's hats, both wizard's hats, pirate hats, and the David Kebbett hats. And then some of the items which I said are different and unique. I've got things like the tattoo I got from the Squeal of Fortune, and I've got like the longbow that I fletched for 200 mil fletching XP, the dragon square shield that I smithed for 1 bill overall XP, and the pet shard which I suggested and they added into the game, which is pretty cool. So that's it for that tab. This one just contains stuff that I don't really use, but it would be a bit tedious if I destroyed them and then I needed them in the future. So things like the lumberjack, I never really have plans on using it, but it would be annoying if for some reason I did need it and I got rid of it, as it takes a while to get. Same with things like the salve amulet and the cramulet. I don't ever use them, but if there's a new quest that needs it, it'd be annoying that I'd got rid of it. And finally, my last tab contains a bunch of bot nuke investments, which I bought quite a while ago, and they've since dropped a lot in price. And you can just see the enormity of the items I bought right now. So I've got a lot of items in there, and most of them have dropped in price since I bought them, and whether or not they rise in the future because of the bot nuke, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Because take the red chin chompers for example, if you think they're really heavily botted, so once bots are gone their price is going to rise, that does make sense, But you've also got things like the evolution of combat, which currently renders chins pretty redundant in the long term. So whether or not chins rise because of that, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And you can argue the same thing for things like my overload supplies, as they're heavily botted at Sorcerer's Den or Sorcerer's Garden, whatever it's called. But if they're nerfing overloads in the evolution of combat, maybe they won't have a reason to rise anyway. So a lot of it I'm going to just keep until it either starts rising or I have a reason to sell it, such as if party hats or something crash horribly overnight. I may sell some of this so I can afford more party hats, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. So I guess it looks like I'm going to be holding on to this for a while. So what I'm going to do now is price check this stuff. So I'll just pause the video while I get it all out. So there you can see some of the stuff in my price checker, and you can pause it and look at the prices individually if you'd like. But otherwise, it comes to a total for that stuff of just under 2.1 bill. And as for the rest of it, we've got the dragon supplies, well, from the loot from the dragons and my raw sharks comes to 1.8 bill. So that puts us at 3.9 bill so far. And then my red chins on top of that puts us to 4.5 bill. So about 4.5 bill in this stuff here. And then if you look at my Grand Exchange, I just ever so handily have 4 bill cash hiding away in here. So all that together, we've got 4.5 bill and 4 bill cash in there. Puts us at 8.5 bill. Then in my first tab, obviously there, 9.2 bill. Then things like my Druidic robe top and the staff puts us at 10 bill. And then I've also got things like the bandage chestplate, Fury, Glaven boots, everything else which I've not added, which just puts me maybe a 200 mil extra above the 10 bill mark, which I'm quite happy with, because I have lost about a bill on these supplies in my inventory, which is quite a big loss. Even though it's only 10% of my bank, it's still not very nice losing like 1000 mil. But as well as that, I have spent a bit of money on skills as well. I've managed to get myself 50 mil Herbler XP, which isn't a massive amount compared to 200 mil, which quite a lot of people have now, but that's still about 300 mil that I've spent on Herbler in maybe the last 2 months. On top of that, also cooking I've spent a lot on, just cooking those summer pies which you saw in my bank, which are about 1.2k loss per pie. And I've probably spent again another 200 to 300 mil on cooking. And finally, my range, which is now at 118 mil XP. I've chinned about 80 mil XP of range in the last 2 months or so, which has gotten me quite a lot of XP and HP as well, but it's also used about 300k chins, maybe a bit more, which has probably cost me close to about 280 mil in total maybe, because the chins did cost me about 900 each, which is awful considering they're now about 680 or 700 or something. But spent about a bill on skills, maybe including the 3 that I mentioned. I've lost a bill on my supplies, and I'm still about 1 bill up in total. So I'm really happy with the amount of money I must have made by merchanting, because it doesn't really seem a lot, you know, when you just make 5 mil here or there. But I guess it does add up, and I'm glad I've been doing it. So about a 10 bill bank, got myself to 1.16 bill total XP, and as for my future goals, I guess you could say 200 mil range, hopefully before the evolution of combat, and also 200 mil dungeoneering, also before the evolution of combat, just because I really can't stand it, and maybe to do a final few fire kit videos, as I honestly don't think I'll bother doing any at all after the combat update that's coming in the near future. So apart from that guys, I hope you've enjoyed having a look at my bank, seeing my progress and listening to my future goals. So I hope you've enjoyed, cheers for watching, and I will see you in another video. So cheers guys.